Hi everybody, it's Lady Mal again. Yeah, I'm kind of wearing the same makeup. Yes, I do have a top on, um, because it's spring break and I have people running around my house all week, so all my vlogs are getting done on Tuesday. Anyway, today's topic is the consensual. It's part 3 of the 3-part series on Safe, Sane, Consensual. Um, Consensual is pretty much one of the biggest things to follow, because if you go into a scene and your other partner isn't willing, then it's no longer safe or sane. It's more than likely abuse and or rape, depending on how far it goes. Now, in some relationships, when the submissive submits to her master or mistress, that's usually when consent is given for anything. Um, at least in my opinion, it is. Unless it's something that's going to push a hard limit or it's something that's never been done before, then generally it's understood that it's consensual. If you go into a play party and some random dominant or submissive wants to play with you or be played with, you usually want to get at least a verbal consent, if not a written consent, which is a pretty good idea. Consent is really important, because if you don't get consent, then later on people can start screaming things about abuse or that you're a horrible top or you're a horrible submissive. Um, and really, it falls on the submissive shoulders, because if your dominant starts to do something that you don't like, you need to stop it. I don't care if they're your boyfriend, girlfriend, lover, husband, wife, partner, whatever. Um, if it's something you don't want to do and you're not consenting to it, they don't have consent to do it, and it's not right. Um, because once they fail to get consent, then it falls into different categories, and nobody wants that. Um, Sorry, I'm pulling up a website. Involved parties are usually spouses or significant others, that you usually don't have to say every time, do I have permission to hit you or whatever. You usually want to, if someone comes over and says, I want to experience, being flogged or being spanked or being cropped, then the two parties involved need to talk about it and make sure everything's ironed out. Make sure, that everything's understood on what's going on. I know in a lot of my past BDSM relationships, I have actually signed an actual contract saying, this is what I expect to get out of this relationship. This is what I will do. This is what I won't do. These are my kinks. Um, my thing is, I'm willing to try almost anything at least once. There are some things that I won't do ever, and that's just the way it goes. But there are things that I haven't tried that I might actually give it a chance to see what it's like. But again, isn't much that I haven't done. So, um, but I always make sure that A, I've agreed to it, and that B, the dominant understands that these are my limits, and if you cross them, then there's going to be problems. Um, Really, consent's pretty easy to understand. I mean, you either give your permission to play or you don't. That's just the way it goes. Oh, and something else. If you're at a play party or even just talking to friends or whatever, and someone happens to be a dominant and say they want to play with you, but you're owned by somebody else, get permission. Don't just run off and play with somebody else, because for all intents and purposes, you and your well-being are your dominant's responsibility. If you run off and play with someone else without permission, you're violating the trust, and you're doubting your master's or mistress's ability to take care of you. And that's not cool. Um, Now, some masters give a blanket consent. If you find somebody you want to play with and you think they're safe and sane, then go for it. Go play. Have a good time. Some masters, you only play with master unless master or mistress says so. Um, I'm not real big into trading, quote unquote. Um, it's been done to me. Had a friend, same girl that got me into BDSM. We were together, and her top and my top got together and they wanted to switch. And neither one of us was okay with it. And we both told them, this isn't cool. This isn't going to happen. I'm sorry. And her top understood. Mine was, for lack of a better word, a dickhead, and was in it for all the wrong reasons. And so he got upset, but I got out of that, so it's no big deal now. But you really need to communicate, and you need to make sure that everybody understands what's going on. And I kind of feel like I'm repeating myself, but some things need to be repeated. They're important. If you just follow these 3 rules, the safe, sane, and consensual, you can have a very healthy relationship in the BDSM scene. They can be some of the most supportive and nourishing relationships because there's equal trust. You as a submissive know that your dominant has your best interest at heart, and they care about you, and they want you to be better. They want to better you. At least the good ones do. And the dominants get a sense of fulfillment when they see their sub flourish and do well and become successful. And there is, aside from being a parent, there is nothing more fulfilling than that. Knowing that your master is proud of you. And now I'm getting all teary-eyed. To know that you make them happy and that you make them proud to be your owner, to be your master or mistress. And for me, there's nothing better except my son. But, kids are exempt. Kids trump everything. But there's nothing better. And if you just follow the 3 rules and you're open and you communicate and you're truly wanting it to work, it can be the greatest thing in the world, or it can be the most horrific relationship, just like any abusive relationship. So that's really all I have. Questions, comments, rate down below. I'd appreciate it. You can find me on FetLife. You can find me on YouTube. Shoot me an email. Shoot me a comment, a complaint. Tell me I look horrible. I don't care. Whatever. I will see you all next week, and y'all have a great weekend. Mwah. Bye.